It's at 5:30. Okay, guys. So this is the just for the record, so we can get a couple some started. So we're July 17th. So hey, welcome everybody who's not watching. I know some people will trickle in. We might have 15 or 20 people like we did last week. We moved it up to 5:30, from 6 because we have a lot of people on the East Coast, and I think I only have 2 people in California or the West Coast. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page. I know Willie and Simi both have some interesting programs, things to talk about. So I want to make sure they get time to talk about what they've got, which can help everybody. Let me go ahead and do Simi. Are you ready? Can you kind of tell everybody on the like what your guy can do EMD? I mean, the show money and how that works.
Yeah, sure. So the guy I work with, he basically represents high net worth individuals, and he uses their money. They get a fixed percentage on not leveraging their money, but it's really show. So, for example, if you want to show POF for any amount, what they'll do is they'll wire in X amount into the high net worth's attorney's bank account. So it'll be in escrow, but with the attorney, you can call up and verify the funds are there, whatever amount. It can be several million, 100,000. So if you're looking to take down a contract and they're saying, well, we want to see proof of funds, so we can put that letter together for a fee and show that the money's in the account, and then you can go to contract or whatever the case might be. So that's proof of funds, not really EMD in the true sense where he goes hard. This is just show money. And but they do also offer down payment assistance. So they will wire in X amount to close the deal, but then they're getting their money back plus the fee at closing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've been talking about doing, EMD and gap and transactions. So I just wanted to clarify that and put it on recording.
So what are they doing with the EMD to guarantee their money coming back? Because that was the thing when I heard about this. I was like, well, what if the borrower doesn't perform? That EMD money is lost. I mean, the
it's going to. Well, he said it's going to his attorney, not to, and then so I mean that's what
it doesn't matter. There's a contract that says that the money goes to the seller if the buyer doesn't perform. The attorney's got
not what I'm talking about. I mean, you're talking about specifically EMD. I'm talking specifically proof of funds for show.
Right, proof of funds is really not an issue. I mean, anybody can write a POF. I mean,
okay, I know, but we're trying to do this
hard.
No, they can't.
The question is the EMD.
They can't.
Okay, the EMD
no, I mean,
side.
We're putting money in an attorney's account where you can call up and verify that the funds are there.
Right. So that's called verification of funds. It's different than POF. But my question is on the EMD side. On the EMD side is how is that money guaranteed? Because if the borrower doesn't perform, the seller is going to keep the EMD.
You've got 10 days to pull it out.
No, you don't. Depends on the contract.
Yeah, you write that up in the contract. If you're loaning EMD, you're going to write in that contract that you've got 10 days to pull it out. They're not going to just put up their money in there and have a fail safe.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of this is what we're setting up with the people that they're going to be loaning in the money from the program, the associates in the program.
Right. No, this is what I'm trying to understand of this, because a lot of contracts that are going on today, especially with hard money, is you're going in hard and blind. You're putting down EMD, and there's no refund on the EMD.
We're not doing those deals.
Okay, that's my question. I wouldn't do those deals either with borrowed lending money. That's why I'm asking the question. Okay.
Don't do a non-refundable EMD if you're lending the money. We're not even doing it.
And that's how they're not doing it. I mean, nobody's doing it on there. So that's why we wanted to clarify for everybody. It's a different kind of thing. And you guys will have to go through, anybody that wants to do anything with this will have to go through Simi, through his guy. We're just making it available to when we, when this funding committee gels over the next couple of weeks and is ready to go and people are starting lending and stuff, then he can, jump in and maybe whatever deals that actually work for him and his guy.
Willie can probably talk more about this because Willie knows more about the Pace Morby method, right? Is that true?
Yeah, he's in that program.
As far as lending EMD,
yeah,
Yeah, if even when I was not with Pace, if I put up EMD, there was always a 10-day clause in there that it's refundable.
Okay.
If they're talking about non-refundable EMD, that's
Yeah.
not even that means they don't want you doing any inspection, because by law you've got 10 days to pull out of the contract regardless. If you go
Yeah.
walk the property and something's wrong and they don't want to negotiate, you've got 10 days to pull that EMD, or we're not even.
Well, right, it depends on the state and stuff. It depends on the contract, depends on the state, it depends on a bunch of stuff, but that makes a lot more sense now, what you're saying. And
Yeah.
that was my confusion, because I know that there's just a lot of transactions now that are going on where do your inspections first, put down your
Yeah.
EMD, and if you don't perform, you lost it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're only doing EMD with, so the buyer has to perform and arrange full funds within 10 days, or we're pulling the EMD money and the contract goes bye-bye.
Correct.
Okay,
And these are deals pretty much like Associate to Superior that we're gonna be doing until like October, November, when everything's gelled and everybody's ready to go out to the public, because obviously, you know, there's some things that people haven't done before. It's trying to get everybody in the group speed, and we got 70 people, and trying about 30 people have indicated they have anywhere from 5,000 to, you know, Miki has SDRA, you know, IRA and all that stuff, and then we want to make sure that we have enough that everybody can get these deals done. Everybody's got deals going. And so
Yeah,
yeah.
I was going to say that Pace's agreements, I haven't seen them, but I know his language and his agreements protect the EMD. So that's something that we'll have to construct on our own as our own agreement.
I've got it. Yeah, and I've got the contract, and I'll be uploading it this weekend. I've got it at to one of my securities attorneys and one of my real estate attorneys are looking at it right now. Just kind of finalizing some things, and then obviously there's some states that we may have to, but we got it. I mean, I got, like, guys, you know, what you guys see in files and guides is maybe 10% of what you guys are going to be getting. And so I'm trying to just put some. I'm trying not to overwhelm people, because we have some true beginners that have joined that are in this, and I don't want them to go in. And, you know, last week I uploaded stuff on closings and title policy and title insurance and all that, and trying to get some more stuff. You know, we got the seller carry. I mean, today I got a bunch of stuff. I got like 30 things I'm probably going to upload between now and Sunday, just in files. That doesn't include all the guides that I've been putting together. And then those all have questions. So you guys see those blanks. If you guys see those blanks I have in the guides, those are all going to be put into that virtual program that I posted that stuff today about Lightspeed, and, you know, that storm company that uses their program. Grant Cardone also uses Lightspeed for Cardone University. So all those questions that I'm putting in there, the blanks are all going to be, we're not going to do them in the class, but they're eventually going to be quizzes, and there's going to be like a 3-question quiz at every end. A module, maybe 5 or 6 of those, what those posts are, and then a track maybe 40, or, you know, it's extensive, and it's going to be adding, or we're going to have people like you guys teaching it, and there's going to be 2, like I said, there's going to be 2 levels of revenue sharing, and they're both, you guys can go into the files tab, and anything that says PM University, PMA University, whatever, there's like 6 documents. You can download them all, and you guys can see all the stuff that Chris Kalicki put together in 2020, 2019, before COVID. And I think the numbers are a lot better. And so people who facilitate and teach what we're going to be doing and add to it are going to have a revenue share. And then people who are ambassadors and, you know, bring people in and host events and things, there's going to be there's going to be revenue sharing. And if we bring in 9 million a year, we might pay out. I mean, that was a projection by year 3, having 9 million a year come in. You guys can see Chris's numbers are solid, and I think we'll be able to pay out like 33, you know, like we'll be able to pay out like a third, you know, and maybe even more than that to people, and actually get people paid, you know, for helping facilitate it. And then, like we were talking about, I was talking to Ari before you guys all came on, we're going to try to incorporate that with the AI. Ari's got a guy that can do all the AI and stuff the way that we want to do it. I have all the components, every component we need for it. I just need the vendor. And because I also need a vendor that isn't going to go and like try to take ownership, because you guys know how that works too. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you get into a situation where somebody builds something for you and then they want a bigger piece at the end or something. And I need to make sure either, if we're going to, whatever agreement we have has to be, you know, in writing before it happens.
So the guy I have actually not only does AI, but he's a big name in Web3, and he was telling me about some of the stuff that goes on in virtual. And we actually could set up, I'm just thinking about this, popped in my head. I gotta talk to him about this. But we probably could start lending money in the virtual world the same way we're lending on real estate in the real world. You can there's real estate in the virtual world that people buy. Like the same way they buy real estate, you can buy virtual real estate.
I know, in the metaverse, I know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it some other time though, because I got a few things I gotta go on, make sure that we have a few people looking at deals and stuff. I want to make sure everybody gets their feedback tonight. Obviously we got people coming up. David, oh, nice to meet you. David Solis, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Cool. Just want to make sure I welcome all the new people. Adam, what's up? How are you? Are you driving?
Hello. Yeah.
Cool. All right. We got Zeke. We got everybody else. Hey, everybody just go around and what you got going on? Anybody got a deal? I know we have a few people that have said they have some deals and they wanted to talk about it. I know we're trying to get ramped up, but just if anybody has a deal, something you want to see if anybody can have any ideas on how to get funded, just go ahead and raise your hand.
I have a question. Just in general terms. Nate, we're all part of these same Facebook groups. I saw one broker post today that he's got a DSCR program that he can do 80% cash out with no seasoning period. I'm calling BS, but he's saying he can do it. And he said he can do it making properties.
Have you seen the guy that's saying that he can do 110% and he does it with 2 products and one of them's like, they'll give you like $100,000 and you can pay. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like, I just don't like those posts. I don't like, and I don't like, show us how they are. And when you question them, oh, you can't, I had someone else today too. Also another lady that was like, the typical, hey, if you're a wholesaler, you need to sign your NDA. It's a $5,000 non-refundable deposit and don't negotiate because I know what I'm doing. And I look at her thing and I'm like, how many, she only has like 50 friends on Facebook.
Right.
And I'm like, so yeah, I mean, and you guys saw what I posted yesterday, right? So I posted those 4 or 5, and there were questions that I get everybody. So I posted those. I had no intention of even like, I was like, I'm trying to sit there and if you guys have this problem, just a subtle way, if you have this question, I got these people. Everybody that's on the group right now can probably help them. So I posted those. I was getting all day long people like, and the first thing everybody does is they're very condescending. Have you heard about this? Do you know how to do this? And all this stuff. And I'm like, looking at the thing going, been doing this for 6 years. I've broken 250 deals. I know, but everybody was like condescending. And then somebody this morning, like I said something last night, I woke up this morning and it was like, and I woke up at like 5 for some stupid reason. And I looked at my phone and the guy said, well, why don't you send all your people over to me and I can get them funded? I'm like, do you not understand what I just posted that we have? I mean, literally do people no. So, I mean, guys, tonight, Monday nights, for those of you guys who are on for the first time, Monday nights is going to be a little bit more flexible because we are by August 6th. I'm planning just to be nothing like I'm an introduction. Here's anybody that's in here tonight. People hopefully have sent me a thing saying, hey, I got a deal. I'm turning it over to you guys and the funding committee, 7 people or whatever. And then all the people that can lend money in the group to basically, it's your guys' show. So starting on August 6th, I'm going to be on like 10 minutes and I'm going to be sitting back letting you guys run this. And I'll have co-hosts. So, everybody that's like a lender, that can lend money or broker money, make decisions, you, Simi, Willie, everybody that can make money, everybody that can make decisions will be a co-host. And then you could break people away. You can break people away into a breakout room. Like if somebody comes in and you want to go talk to them about their deal, that way the breakout room isn't on recording and you guys can go and hash out the deal. And if you guys think you can get them funded, and I think by October, my goal is by October, November, to basically be able to take this out to the public. And then imagine having live video interaction with lenders and people can actually talk to them and don't have to be like, hey, send me this, email this, message me, all the stuff that happens. It's all bullshit. So this has kind of come out of this whole group. What I've seen is there needs to be live video interaction between people. And I think that's good. Yeah.
Have you guys checked out that Deal Central platform?
Somebody sent it to me. I haven't seen it.
That's exactly what he's doing. He meets a couple nights a week. You can present your deal. There's funders on there, and then they just link up and see if they can actually fund the deal. I've been on there, a couple of times, and I've seen, I've tried to get a couple guys funded from it, and it's kind of like Shark Tank. He verifies.
Yeah, somebody sent it to me, and that's exactly what they said, like Shark Tank. And I'm like, we're trying to do this, but what I'm trying to do is also with the Wednesday nights and rest eventually the virtual is be able to know if you guys are lending money and you guys see them because in the virtual program, and if you guys, like, it's hard, they have to show you the demo. So like when Storm Ventures Group does, obviously it's their roofing stuff. People would have their employees in there. I was paying $1,000 a month for my salespeople, my production manager, and all that in there. And you can actually see if you're an employer or you're the person, the main person that's subscribed, you can actually get the results of those quizzes. People are doing the work.
Yeah.
So imagine now taking this to another level, Willie, and saying, hey, instead of, with Deal Central, now all of a sudden you as a lender, you guys as lenders or whatever, you see that these people are putting the work in, they're actually going through the program, and you guys can see that. And you guys go, guess what? There's your experience, there's your education, because they're gaining experience from the practical, and there's going to be videos where, you could have, Ari can sit there and do 20 videos on something. These are going to be 5 to 7 minute videos, because that's, they do it that way. So does Cardone Cap University. Lightspeed comes down to, people have attention spans for maybe 5 to 7 minutes, and they can go, and then you can come home and in 30 minutes, you get home from work, you're tired, you had to make dinner or whatever, you can go watch 30 minutes of videos. Then you could jump in, log into the system, source a property, and by the end of the property, you've got it. And if you guys are lenders, you're seeing that. You're able to go in and go, hey, as Joe Blow, he's just completed this fix and flip track. So he's just watched 80 fix and flip videos all the way through acquisition, deal structure, deal analysis he knows scope of work. He knows how to get that contract. Take my contract that's from Files that is specific for real estate investors. That contract is not for somebody to hire a contractor to do their kitchen. It's specifically for real estate investors. You guys go and look at all those forms. Every form we have is only they're not going to help you with anything else. They're all real estate investor. And I probably got I think I got 9 more USB sticks to go to upload. All the stuff I put together, all the stuff that's been wired up, it's all good to go. And then all the guides. So you guys think about that kind of power. We're going to talk about this on Mondays. On Wednesdays, guys, like last Wednesday, we are 2 hours. I mean, I've got the schedule. Like we break it down to what we're talking about for 5 minutes, and then we're off that topic. So Wednesdays are going to be very structured, very academic now. A lot of opportunity to actually, Monday nights is going to be until about August 6th. I think my target date is August 6th to have you guys, anybody that's lending, be ready to go, have the contracts, make this, and then by the time 2 or 3 months down the road, we could go to the public. And then hopefully after that, the virtual system will launch. And by the time the virtual system launches and people are just signing up like Privy, and you guys also know, 10 minutes before we started, I uploaded a link for a free webinar. Jim Ingersoll is co-hosting with Benson. So I think that is free. So you guys want to get on that, and it's free, and Benson's with Jim, and it's going to be awesome. You guys can see Privy. And Benson just showed a property as 41% of ARV. And I think the property was in the 230s. And I don't know what they put in for rehab. Sometimes they don't have that information for what somebody, but they sold it for like 630, or they sold it for almost, I think it was about a $300,000 profit on a single family in Indianapolis. So if you guys go to Privy, now you take out that deal and you go to a lender and you're at 41% of ARV, and you need you need your rehab money and all your closing costs, and you're below 65% or 60%, your lender is going to love you. And all you guys that are lending money in this program, you guys are going to love that too, because that is risk management at its best. You're taking a lot of risk out when you open the door for 40-50% profit. Literally, if you're going at 50% of ARV 55 and you're all in rehab and closing costs, you're flipping the script.
Hey, aren't you in the master program that you get 100% funding from Kogo?
I'm not in the master program. I didn't do that one. I did a private money broker, and I did lien abatement. The reason I did lien abatement, I was going to do the master. Like I said, I wanted to do lien abatement because it was really exciting, and I was starting to work with some people in Denver, like they were talking about they do in St. Louis. In St. Louis, they have a great program. St. Louis had a program where they would sell you a house that had been seized by the city for like $500. And Lee Arnold had set that up. So I took that one because, that was a good one. I got like three out of there. And so the master program at the time was like 20 grand. And I took three. My total was I spent about $7,500 for the three that I took. And I felt at the time I was gonna do master. And then, I did that big deal and all that stuff. Then after that, when I took that big deal that I made, the $7.2 million deal I did with the family office, I couldn't go back. I went to two more funding tours with Lee Arnold, then I couldn't go to the next one because I'd become a celebrity and everybody wanted to sign up for private money broker and nothing else. So they were like, well, we love you, dude, but we want to use your
Yeah.
testimonial, but we don't need you to be a celebrity at the event when we got we got 6 other programs, we're trying to get people into. And so I think they said something like 40 people became private money brokers just because of me, my testimonial. And that was that was my 7th deal and I made $212,000. So, that was 2018. So, that was a good deal. And
Yeah.
that was a family office. It wasn't a private lender. They basically family office invested in it, and they actually completed their exit strategy within 2 years and got out of it. So it was a pretty good deal, and I made 212. So I tell people they can't, they use my testimonial. I tell people they can't do it all the time. That was a special case. That was that's a family office and not a lender. But no, I think so. I think these Mondays are going to get a little bit more structured. But like I said, my goal is by August 6th, I want to turn it over to the people on the funding committee and board, and like you guys run the show. And
One of the other things that I was thinking about, and I have a few leads, to look at when we get to a point where we have some volume as a group, even if we don't have our money or money readily available, if we're doing enough volume, we can actually borrow money. We can wholesale money from big lenders, and make money on the arbitrage. But I think we need to be doing about 10 million a month to do that.
well, there is the correspondence program with Rock, and Willie's actually talked to them, and also she's not on tonight. Erica is actually going to be doing that, but the correspondent program is kind of the same thing. They give you a warehouse line, and basically,
Well,
okay,
right,
that's
is that like they don't, because with this program, you're responsible for everything. They're not looking at the deals, they're not vetting anything, they're leaving that all to you. You borrow 10 million, they expect 10 million back with their
well,
interest.
this happens the same way. They give you their software,
Okay.
so they see the deal in the software, but you're
Right,
bar-
this is
you're
not
bar-
that.
okay,
There's
but that
no
is
software, this is just,
okay.
here's cash, they wire it to
And
you,
I'm saying that
you
this
lend
is,
it.
I know this is like different. I think it's a little bit easier for people to qualify for because, well, Willie can explain to you. So he's going to be brokering for them for a little while until 2 days, and then he's going to convert over to correspondent. And so is some other people. So that is a little easier for us to actually establish for anybody. You can start, working with them or whatever, brokering deals.
No,
and
that's fine.
I totally get into
obviously-
what you're saying, Ari. It's just like I said, the correspondent program is going to be a lot faster coming because we've already got people in the
Right,
pipeline.
well, I bring it up because I suspect that the margins will be bigger on what I'm talking about, and so
Oh, okay.
when we get big enough that we're doing that kind of volume, we might want to look at doing that. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying, Nate, is
I
that
know,
something
and
to think
then-
about for the long run?
And then at that point, we can also still go to Del Morgan and do with them. So and that for you guys who haven't heard them, they're an investment bank. They're probably in the top 30. They're not up there with JP and Goldman, but Del Morgan is basically they just raised like $1 billion for one client doing biofuel, and they're an investment bank. You guys can Google them, and we have a proposal for them, and it's $150,000 their engagement fee. That covers all their marketing, all the legal stuff, and all that. And then they go out and raise. They already have their own people. And a lot of their staff have gone to like Wharton Business School and Stanford Business School and all that stuff. So they're all, they're up there with the, they're not at that top 10, 12 banks, like those, like the big ones, but they're up there. There's also was the potential of doing an NFT or something like that, but everybody knows what's going on in crypto, and that's probably not, we're gonna, watch. Yeah, I don't want to do. I thought about that one time because somebody was like, "Hey, there's somebody in Jim's group promoting that one time," and I was like, I'm watching what they're doing, and I went and it's like, fuck no, I don't want anything to do with that. Everybody in crypto right now is going to jail. All the big players. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's like Mashinsky went down over the weekend or last week, and from Celsius, his wife was like shopping last week and the next day her husband got arrested, and she was at like, I forget what she was buying, but it was pretty expensive. The next day her husband was in custody. It's not a good look to have your
No.
wife, But no, so I think a lot of this, I think it's coming together, guys, and I think we'll get the players. Like I said, I've got a couple of people here, the people that have asked already. Willie and Ari and Simi are going to be. I want you guys on the board. There's some other people, obviously. Erica will be. Gabe's going to be on that, and it's going to be like 7 people that can make, that can kind of structure the deals and help everybody put together. And there's going to be about another 20 people by the looks of it who have money, because like Miki, Josh's wife was on last week. She's got her own money, plus she's got her IRA. So we're going to have this presentation. I guess, Ari, whenever you get your guy to talk about IRAs, so we can talk to her and some other people.
So remember, so he actually responded.
I saw that. I haven't.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, I don't know.
Hold on, Nate, slow down, take a breath. So he responded, but that email had bounced. So he had responded to you, but because it bounced, you didn't see it. His response was, "Great to meet you, Nate. I'm happy to chat anytime. Self-directed is super powerful. We have some really good strategies and help people across their retirement investments. I look forward to talking with you guys." And he had told me, I have to look somewhere a little bit about his schedule. Give me a second. Let me just find it. Hold on. Let me just see where. Let me just pull up that email. I'll tell you, he had told me kind of what his schedule was. Here we go. He's traveling 7/27 through 8/3, so he can't do those dates. So I'm thinking we schedule something for beginning of
Mid-August.
August.
Yeah, mid-August. Right after the 6th, we'll probably schedule that, because that's the
Right.
first.
And the thing about Ty is Ty's a lender. Ty's done tons and tons of lending deals. So, I mean, I don't think we should solicit him to join the group or anything, but
No,
he's gonna know what we're doing and then some, and understand our business.
Okay, and
without
that's why I
any-
want him on
without any
there, but-
issue.
Yeah, that's what I want him on there to talk about the IRAs. As far as anything else, we're trying to keep this, because I don't want this to get to be where it's too convoluted, too many people throwing wrenches into it. But let's do, I've got we've got a thing, and this is what everybody's signing up for. And doing the EMD, the gap transaction, then also have a lot of people that want to borrow money, and then getting it all dialed in. Everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody's good. Everybody can do the paperwork. Everything's clean, and then we can take it to the public, and then have the virtual system come in after that with the AI, with the funding system and all that together. And that'll happen with, between your guy and Lightspeed. And then we'll basically, at that point, we'll be rock and roll at that point. And none of you guys, I mean, I'll be on here hosting, but you guys will be running the show. My whole thing is after I complete these 16 weeks, is basically having enough people that know what they're doing, that can use everything to have facilitators, people out there putting presentations together and teaching stuff, and whether it's actually out of what I put on this, or it develops organically and people are coming and doing an SDRA, an IRA program, or 10, 12 videos on it, or doing scope of work, and we bring a contractor in who's done a lot of residential and even commercial stuff. Speaking of that, here's Josh and Mika. That helps. We just talked about them.
So I have a deal that's like over here in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
And the price for it, basically we got it under contract for is $270, and we have $60,000 with the GC quote ready to basically be pulled on. We're using Linky Capital right now to basically pull up our hard money. So what I'm looking for is somebody to go ahead and put down, basically to pay off that down payment and then make maybe I don't know, maybe 10 or 15% on their money.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about. You know, if somebody puts in 60 grand and charges you 10-15% on that, that's
What
exactly
are the
what we're,
numbers again? What are the numbers on this deal again?
It's 270 for the house and 60 for a quote from a GC to bring it up to hopefully ARV looking like, what would you say?
that's, yeah, so
What did you say the ARV was?
450.
450.
450, 450, so 270 plus 60, so you're 330 in is basically what you're saying?
Yeah, plus you gotta, whatever interest.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 330, right, 330 in, and then you got the hard money.
On the
and
60.
then-
Yeah.
Well, wait, are you looking for down
Yeah, look at-
payment for the 330 loan? What are we looking for? What are we looking for down payment on the 270, right, on the purchase?
I would want to do this. I would want the whole 330 to be paid basically so we can get this show on the road. 60 for the basically go to the GC and this, payment schedule, whatever it is with an agreement. And then 270, we just pay off the house that we have, pay it off.
All right, so we're looking for 330 is what you're saying.
Yes.
And what's the house right now? It's not, it's owned by a third party, correct?
Sent over a link of a Google Drive that I created
Yeah, he posted a link on that.
that
to the group.
basically shows the photos of.
Right. Is the
Yeah.
current owner open to holding a note?
Say it one more time. No, they're ready for foreclosure.
They're in
Yeah.
So basically,
foreclosure.
they got out of that, and then now
They're in foreclosure. So wait a second. So there's a mortgage on
basically the next
there's a-
door, like his cousin next door lost his house completely. And an investor bought that one and then posted it on market as is again for 380.
So wait again. So there's a mortgage on the property right now for how much? How much is the note on the property right now, and at what interest rate?
No. They're up. They just want to cash out.
Well, whatever the fact that they want to cash out is nice, but this may be a subject to play. Is where I'm going with this. Is you take over the current note, you cure the note, you come up with the 60 to do the repairs, and then you sell the property and pay off that other note
So
and make the profit.
yeah, and then basically
that's
go
a
ahead
cheaper
and put the down
play.
payment for the next house.
Right, but that's a cheaper play than finding the money. So the 330 you're going to be borrowing is going to basically be hard money. If there's a current note on this property and you can take the property subject to and cure that note, do the repairs, that's a much easier play and a lot less money to have to find.
Yeah, that's a good scenario.
You follow what I'm saying?
It makes sense to say. I mean, it's just that the client's saying they're ready to go.
Oh,
Who's
no,
ready to
exactly.
go?
Like they want their money and get out.
So you're gonna take out a hard money loan to buy this property?
If all else goes, then that's the plan.
Okay.
All right.
Because you're looking around over 70% of ARV right now. It's gonna be hard to, with that, but
I mean, with
Do you have-
all the numbers that I had running up, I was saying if on the hard money side, I'm saying I think the total was like 84, which is change.
Well, how much are you gonna end up paying in hard money on this thing? Let's figure that out. If you're borrowing 330, so 330, let's say you get it at 12%. That's what, 40 grand for the year? So you're gonna pay like 25,000 in hard money fees. And just hard money and interest and fees. unless I'm doing my math wrong, I just did some quick dirty math. Anyone else have other numbers?
Not really. I was letting you do. I was at 73% of ARV, based on that, on without the interest, without the interest at all. So, yeah, I mean, it's still gonna be a tough deal. If you don't have it under
Yep.
contract and there's some room there, David, you may want to get with one of these guys to help, maybe try to get it under that. Okay, he put the numbers up there a little bit, so you guys can see that. He just sent
Yeah.
it to everybody. Because we gotta try to be under 65% or under. And that's maybe where we want to grab Ari or one of these guys who's, Will or Willie or somebody from the group who can help you put this together, maybe put the offer together.
Use our
I mean,
app.
just
Use that app I'm telling you about, this Backflip app. So here's what happens with that. You can put the property in, it'll give you some comps, and you can put your own comps in, and it'll show you what this lender will give you. You can play with the interest rate, you can play with the credit score, and it'll show you. That way you can kind of go in and negotiate and just blame it on the lender. Say, I can't give you, but yada yada, because this is what my lender's gonna give you. And
So-
that way
so
you
we're-
know it's a deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do that, then if you can have an app that's gonna do that, but as Nate's pointing out with the ARV, with the 73% ARV, you're gonna be you're gonna be tight on this. And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be tight, and that's assuming you can get that 11.9% interest rate, and you still gotta come up with, what was it, $82,000 in down payment money?
Yeah. But I mean,
That's a-
the way we have it is we're only holding it for only 3 months, so we're really only paying.
No. There's no such thing as that I'm only holding it for 3 months. You have to plan to hold it for much longer than that. If you can do your flip and sell it, good for you. But never plan for only 3 months, because when the shit hits the fan, you will be holding it for longer than 3 months. You need 2 or 3 exit strategies, not just I'm selling it after a month, after 3 months.
What's
You
your
need
exit
multiple.
I mean, worst
exit
comes to worst,
strategies.
I was thinking about just basically bridging off to another loan, and then from there go ahead turn it into an Airbnb. It's because the area that it's in is saying Asheville is saying it's a real popular area where people want to retire to.
Yeah,
So and it's a hot market. I'm saying, like
do
the
you have
house
an-
like down the street is saying that got sold 14 days ago, $595.
Hey,
Do you have
David,
And
do you have
David,
access
don't-
to
go on it.
do you have access to Air DNA?
say again.
Do you have access to that program called Air DNA?
Yep, good question.
Because that's a great program to create that exit strategy, because that is a good exit strategy to talk about going to Airbnb or short-term rentals if you absolutely have to. And especially, yeah, that area is a hot area. Air DNA, I forget I don't know if it costs anything. I mean, just, you can Google it, and it's awesome. It's a good program because it can actually help you determine that, because you'll want to show a lender that is an exit strategy,
So
and
David, just so
Where's the
you know, the property he said was Asheville, North Carolina. I think he said. So
Yeah.
Dave, just so you know where I'm coming from, I'm the guy who takes deals and pokes lots of holes in them. I look at everything with 3 grains of salt and try to protect people.
Right.
And I'm very careful. I'm very conservative with what I do. I'm not trying to, crap on your deal here or root it, but you need to be much more conservative with what you're doing and what your numbers are, especially with what's going on in the economy today. You could get stuck in this property. I have someone right now. They're trying to get out of a 13% bridge gap. Okay, they contacted me today. They have lots of equity in the property. Their credit is maxed. They can't get a loan. All sorts of stuff that I'm trying to look at and trying to help them right now. And you could easily get stuck in this property and have to pivot to another strategy. And so you got to be able to prove that Airbnb is a viable strategy that you can actually execute. If you've never done Airbnb before and have no experience with Airbnb, that's not such an easy strategy. It's not just I'm going to set it up on Airbnb and it's going to happen. You've got to learn how to do that. If you're going to do this as a long-term rental as an exit strategy, which might be your other exit strategy, again, you've got to consider those things. You need to have 3 solid exit strategies that you can execute, that a broker can take to a lender and say, hey, here's what this guy's doing, here's his experience, here's the numbers, here's how the lender's protected, push comes to shove. You got to be able to do all that. It's not just, hey, I want to do this. Again, I'm not trying to crap on your deal, but I'm going to flip this in 3 months is not viable. I mean, other people on here can chime in, but I would never even present that to a lender.
Okay, he did post it. Purchase price.
And then you
No,
guys,
I'm saying you did, but I'm saying the deal itself, I would never take that to a lender and say, oh, they're gonna flip this in 3 months and they're gonna be out of the deal.
okay,
There's no lender that I know is gonna lend on that exit
Okay.
strategy.
well, let's move on. From
So
that.
nobody. So I have a question. So nobody here has private money themselves, do they? Everybody's
Yeah.
just using lenders here.
There are people
Some
that have,
some
there are
people,
people
yeah,
that
there's
have money.
people with private money.
They're not always on. We have 70 people, so not everyone's on. So there are people that have money, their own money, and there are people that broker for lenders, and they're all lenders. So it's just there's a mix. But everybody here, everybody that's going to be like involved with any kind of structuring or analyzing deals with people is somebody that is very experienced, or they have their own money. They're putting their own money into deals, or they could broker for it. Lenders, or in some cases, there's a couple of people becoming correspondent lenders, which are, the main lender that's doing that program has loaned out $8 billion, and they have a correspondent program. So there is a good mix of people. I mean, there's a lot of people. It's just not everybody's here tonight. Not everybody's.
And not only that, a good broker it doesn't matter if it's their money or not their money. Your lenders are your golden goose. You treat their money like it's better than your money. So it doesn't matter if you're lending a lender's money, if you're brokering, or you're lending your own money. Your job is to protect that money come hell or high water. That's how you build a reputation.
And I agree 100% with that, because that is true. Now with this deal right here, it's like I said, minor repairs. If you look at the property, look through the pictures and through the videos, we set up basically an exterior video and an interior video. And basically what we're going to be as it being knocked out is in 3 weeks time scheduled. And that's like with, basically having, basically a work schedule with a payment
and what
schedule.
Are you gonna do? And what are you gonna do when the contractor gets hurt and can't work, or the price of materials skyrockets, or materials are not available, or the town shows up and puts a stop work order on you, or any of those other scenarios that can create a problem for you? And I'm talking from experience as someone who's done this. I flipped a house, and I went to flip a house. I was all ready to go. I was all set up to go, and I found out that I can't flip the house. It has to be knocked down because the federal government won't let me flip it. So
what happened in that situation?
What do you mean what happened? I ran into something called FEMA 50 down here in Florida. Surprise.
What did FEMA 50 do?
FEMA 50 is if you're in a flood zone and the repairs and improvements that you need to do to the property are over 50% of the value of the building, not the property, the building. You must knock that building down, or you have to elevate the building so it's out of the flood level. So I came down here, I had a plan, it was all ready to go. It was approved. I borrowed money. I was in hard money at 13%, the whole 9 yards. I got down here and I found out I can't do it. And then I went and scrambled to try to find the money for new construction, and I couldn't find that either. And I got very lucky that area, the market took off, and I walked out and I made a profit on that property when I sold it. But I was about to get nailed. So what I'm saying to you is, all your plans and all your ideas are great until they hit reality and things start changing.
Okay, here's what I want to interject. Let's bring in Willie to talk about pad split, because he just said this is a good exit strategy. This is something some people may not have heard about. Yeah, Willie, talk about pad split. What do you see an exit strategy for this at?
Am I on? So
yeah.
It's kind of like they're saying the new Airbnb, but it's only an individual room. It can double what you would normally bring for a rental. And it's not so many restrictions on it because it's not Airbnb. It's a pad split. Each person has their own individual room. So what they're going in and doing, if you're going to do the repairs, they have a contractor that you can bring in that'll show you the areas that you can. They don't need a common area. So if it has a big living room, they may put up a wall, which is about $5,000. You need to put a bed in there. They just need a bed, and you basically put your property on pad split. They'll screen the residents for you, and they do it. They just do it like that. It's kind of like Airbnb, but it's called pad split. A lot of people are buying houses specifically pad split them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like having a board. Like there was somebody talking about boarding house, and they were like from Britain or something. Where they
Right.
obviously they use different terms. So no, it's just another exit strategy. Like I said, it's like
Will,
and
and
David, we
Will-
want to. David, we want to.
Will,
Yeah.
Will, what you're saying is a great idea. I mean, pad split's an option, residential assisted living's another exit strategy. I mean, there's a lot of exit strategies, and the only point I'm making is that in order for any of us to take this to a lender or lend our own money, we're gonna want to see some solid exit strategies that can be executed viably. That's all I'm saying. I mean, Simi, you seem to have a bunch of knowledge and experience on this. What's your take on this deal?
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, everything everybody said is correct. I mean, anytime you're going into a deal, you want to have backup strategies, whether it's a cash out refi, whether it's, I'm dealing with this right now. In Atlanta, I've got a client who is completing a rehab, has listed the property. It's not moving. It's listed for over 60 days. Now he's going to remove the listing and use it as an STR. So
Yeah.
that's his, but
Yeah.
I don't think he gave that consideration early on in the process. It was more like, what do I do? Oh shit, what do I do now? Right?
Yeah,
The property.
so now he's puckering is what you're saying, because he's like, the plan didn't work and now I gotta go find something.
Yeah, and there's
Pretty
a couple of
much.
deals. Yeah, there's a couple of deals. We have a couple of associates with deals like that. They're not one of them who's got one isn't on tonight, but I talked to him today. But this is a good situation. And David, in this example, we try to get one of these guys to maybe go offline with you guys, or for those people that are on there, this is a great time for a breakout room or something, where somebody who's co-hosting could just pull the guy aside, and let's try to maybe get him to maybe we can restructure it if the deal is in our contract. Help the guy restructure it, and then maybe you feel comfortable at that time lending your own money. I'm talking to the general group. Somebody can lend their own money or take it to one of their lenders. Work with David and maybe try to maybe structure a different way, throw in some extra strategy, and then of course if you're doing that, then you obviously get first. In our group, you can kind of get first right of being able to put the money in the deal, or first right of refusal.
Is
I was
David
gonna
still?
say,
David's
Go
still on. Yeah.
So David, in North Carolina, in Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro, and Fayetteville, I've got a guy that'll fund 100% of the purchase and 100% of the rehab if the total is under 70% ARV for fix and flip and 75% ARV for fix and rent. FICO needs to be ideally at 640. It's at 12.9% interest, 6-month term with a 3-month optional extension fee.
yeah, I just
Okay.
closed a loan with the
That's-
same group, Will. But what I was going to say, David, if you want to post your
Yeah.
deal in the main in the main group, that way the people that on here, you'll get a lot more eyes, and just say, hey, here's my deal. What do you guys have as suggestions? Or you can say, hey, I'm looking for private money. The people that aren't on here can probably respond in the thread in the main group.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that aren't on right now, and for a variety of reasons. We got, obviously Doris is in Pennsylvania where they just had that weather emergency, and Erica is off. So if you want to talk about your deal, yeah, we got all the people. We can try to get it
So,
out there.
Just quick question. So Simi and Will, you both had said about this 100% finance. So that's no down payment, or that's 100% after down payment?
No down payment.
Yeah.
No
You're
down
paying-
payment at
so basically-
13%.
You're bringing to the
I-
table, you bring in origination, insurance, and closing costs.
Okay, so you're still bringing a few grand to the
Oh, yeah,
table.
yeah, absolutely. And you have to have at least 50% of the rehab budget liquid in your account.
Okay,
So there is criteria.
And-
They're not just gonna dole
right,
out.
and
the
what
money.
experience, and what experience?
Pardon?
Yeah, what experience?
Oh, actually, they'll work with newbies.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome. That's
Yeah,
a great program.
yeah, it is. I mean,
That's a nice
they
program.
will, you have to give them the address. They physically will look up the address and give you a yes or no right away. So don't bother sending them a contract or a renovation budget. They have to personally approve the address. They'll do
David,
it.
is that, can one of these guys like Willie or Simi work with you on maybe trying to take that offer where it could be under the ARV and these guys maybe could get it done? Is there any, if there's any
Yeah.
opportunity there, work with Willie and Simi. Those are the two guys you should, and then there's some other people obviously in the group that may, we obviously have the huge group and you're welcome, we can get it to these guys. We can get it out to as many people in the group, but these guys obviously have this connection where if
Yeah.
we can somehow
I-
structure it under 70, you probably could get a good shot at getting this done.
Yeah,
Now,
work
you know,
with-
I mean,
work
just
with one of
because-
them.
Just because the guideline is 70% of ARV, if it's over, you're just bringing the difference. If it's 72, 73, 74,
Yeah.
and you think it's a good deal, you're just bringing that, you're bringing that difference to the table.
And there may be then an option also where we can, we got somebody in the group who may want to help you with a gap in that case. Maybe if you don't have that, or, if there's a way, it depends on the lender too, because some lenders may not
And it-
accept that. But
and
so
if
you
you want-
definitely,
And if you want to help trying to restructure this, especially into like a subject to or something like that, reach out to me and I'll help you with that. And I'm sure there's a bunch of folks here who, I mean, I think discussing exit strategies is also a very important piece of this. To have the multiple exit strategies and research them, not just say, hey, I'm gonna do pad split, but to make sure that this property is viable for that. Or something else. So that would be
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
advice at least.
I actually like your idea of the subject too. It's less risk. And
Yeah.
I think this would be a good property subject to one.
and Chris just posted a good post about that too. All in has to be need to be 315 for 70% at 450. So obviously, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of good suggestions here. So David, it's like, the ball's in your court. If you want to get this done, we got 4 or 5 people here who probably can help you. Just that are on tonight. So
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just throwing that back of the envelope
Yeah, I know.
math. So 450
Yeah.
ARV, you'd need 315 all in cost. If your repair was 50, that means the most you could offer is 265. So that's another thing to potentially, bring back when you're structuring that deal. Like, hey, talking to the lenders, this is my best case scenario. I can do it, whatever, 10 to 14 days if you can make that happen.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and one other thing that we should all always keep in mind, and I think this is something we should almost this should almost become our motto and say this at the beginning of every session, is the best deal you ever do is the deal you walk away from. If it's not a good deal, just walk away. If the numbers don't work, don't get emotionally involved, walk away from the deal. There'll be another one coming. I think that's an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, trying to say, the best thing, guys, is the thing I say every week, I say every time is people need to jump on that seminar, that webinar with Benson and Jim Ingersoll, Privy, because Privy's changed a lot, Ari, since the last time we looked at it. He's gotten it up to where you can do comps now with it, and I mean
Nice.
he's taken it up about 10 times. It's incredible, and he's doing the free webinar this week. So I would tell everybody just to get on it anyway, because sometimes Benson will actually he'll give away 4 or 5 properties on that webinar.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you guys, Benson's and I just talked, he's in Denver. I'm trying to set up a meeting with Jared from Scope Tech, and we're still trying to get all the 3 of us together so I can also get you guys access to Scope Tech. And they can do products, they can do estimates based on insurance company pricing for storms. And you guys benefit from that because your contractors will still work for that. And you guys are trying to make profit. So we're getting storm pricing on doing painting exterior or whatever. They can't do a lot inside because they're designed for exterior storm restoration, but they can do a lot of stuff. They can get a lot of numbers for you, accurate measurements and all that. But they can't
That
actually
would
tell
be
you.
that would be a nice side thing that we start working on, Nate, is ancillary services. So if we could get a network built of contractors.
Well, that, and I'm working on obviously getting with Privy and getting Scope Tech, and I have both because
Yeah.
I was Benson and I worked for Jared. Went back when I was in the storm business like 7, 8 years ago. And Jared is actually, I just met him last week on my birthday, so he was at my birthday, and he's like, and he's got the 50th floor. That the tallest building downtown Denver when you're here, Ari, is Benson's got his office. I mean, not Benson. Jared's got his office there, the entire 50th floor of the Republic Plaza. He's probably spends $35,000 a month on rent on his office. But he's
Nice.
got Scope Tech guys, and I'll put his website in the chat because you guys can look at it. He looks through what he does for a lot of roofing companies and even insurance adjusters. There's a lot of stuff we can actually incorporate in this. So the feature package for people joining would be to get the virtual program, get Privy, and get maybe PropWire or something for a commercial, because Privy's still not doing a whole lot with commercial, and then getting access to Scope Tech. And you guys just have a total package of getting everything you need, and then you guys can just rock and roll. And you got to access. Then I'll feed right in the funding program. I do this with live lenders and people making decisions. Like somebody brings a deal in, and hopefully the decision you got an LOI from the lender going, "Hey, I'm intending to fund this deal." Obviously, like Shark Tank, you guys know they don't just write a check on Shark Tank on the show on the air, And so I think honestly, I don't want to. And I never want to be a jerk to anybody. I want everybody to feel welcome, especially when we go out, we go out to the public. I want you guys are going to be able to take advantage of a lot of people coming their way. Because I'm like, just once we get that one group, the other EMD group going, and that's going to launch, I want you guys all to be ready to basically fund, basically make decisions, fund deals, advise, whatever on that group. We start flooding people in. That's going to lead to the virtual program and everything else. And then revenue sharing. So revenue starts coming back to you. And you guys could, like I always talked about, we do some kind of thing where we raise money. We could, to do it, we can do a lot with that too, because that'll be monetized. That's monetized from the get-go with Lightspeed. You guys saw the stuff I posted today about them in Storm Ventures Group.
I mean, and if we're talking in the commercial realm, I mean, at some point, I think either this organization or PMA is going to need to invest in a CoStar membership, or someone who does, and then some other tools. Because, like I mentioned to you, I work with a commercial group, Mastermind, and it's run by CCIMs who have access not only to CoStar but to the CCIM software, and it really is a whole other ball game doing commercial real estate. And if we're going to get into big multifamily stuff, I think we're going to need to, at minimum, have access to the information. If not, bring on, say, someone like David Monroe as an advisor to keep us out of trouble. Because there's so much in that.
And I think what we'll do is, the virtual program will also bring a lot of revenue where we can pay that, and everybody that's in now is grandfather would get access. So you guys all that came in at $3.99 would certainly get handed because of the revenue of all these hundreds, if not thousands of people that will sign up. Because imagine now they can go on and get the A to Z, and if they start out, hey, I know how to set my entity up in over a year or 2 years, they could almost self-pace and self-study the entire everything and have every strategy, every contract, everything, basically just at their fingertips. And then imagine getting deals funded and you got all this stuff virtually. And that's the whole plan. That's why it's taking me a lot longer to put this together, because it's like I got, Chris Kalicki's ready to get involved, and Lightspeed loves him. I mean, he literally got to deal with them. He flew on his own dime for me on my behalf to go to Atlanta or from Atlanta to Las Vegas in 2020 to make that deal. And then of course COVID happened, and so he's ready to go and put that together. He's a master corporate trainer, and it's going to be almost like a TV station kind of streaming is what we're going to be able to do with Lightspeed, where you guys can go on there and get all the videos, and you guys can do, just it's incredible technology.
Didn't we once use that term, PMA TV? Didn't we use that term once?
Yeah, that was on the process in 2020. I think right about the time you came on, we were still talking about it, and Chris was in, and then just everything, COVID basically fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you guys are going to be benefits from a lot of that. You know, for the people who are still, because there's people like 20, 30 people have sent me, they send me the link for a payment, and they're still in the process, and I'm like, you guys are going to benefit from everything because it's like I told everybody you're all in, but once you guys are all in, you know, once the virtual system's in place and people are paying, like I said, I was paying $1,000 a month to Lightspeed. I mean, to Storm Ventures Group for Lightspeed, and it was dividends. I got out of the roofing industry because I was just so tired of all the, you know, I'm in Denver, man. We just had the hailstorm in Evergreen where I live, and it's like, man, this first time we had hail, we had a hailstorm is this big. I'll post the pictures tomorrow from my phone that my, you know, my friend took, Danny, and Ari's friend,
Oh,
Ari's friend Danny.
oh, wait a second, Nate, we gotta tell these guys, hey, guys, be on the lookout. Nate is always interested in airports. If you guys find an airport for sale, send it to Nate immediately. He's always looking to buy airports.
That's an inside joke from like 3 years ago because we had a guy that wanted to buy an airport, and he was like a private airport, and I was like, "Do you even know what it requires?" And he's like, "Oh, I can run it." I went and looked up the FAA requirements for what running a private airport is. Like, you cannot just own a private airport, and he wanted like $20 million, and it was like, so yeah, it's kind of a sore subject of me because I like literally I feel bad because I pretty much beat the guy up tonight. I mean, you guys think Ari was a little rough a few minutes ago? I was like, after I got all the information, I'm like, I was like dropping F-bombs at the guy on the video because the guy was like so off. Things like that. I hate doing that, but no, it's like, I don't know. So yeah, the virtual program is gonna be awesome, guys. And I want you guys to just, this whole Monday night is for you guys. And basically you guys are lending money, have an opportunity to, you know, and when the virtual system's up, you guys will be able to see in real time all the people that agree to be lenders are basically going to get access to real-time data and to go, this guy just signed up 6 months ago. He's completed all these tracks. He knows what he's studying it. Now you're going to expect clean paper. Guess what, guys? Because a lot of the paperwork we're going to be using, it's all going to be standardized. So you guys are going to see the same, you know, if you have your own, that's cool. But ideally right now, I'm putting everything in there. So we're all 100% standardized. So you know exactly what that contract is, what it's supposed to look like, and all these people have to go out and you can watch them in real time, learn how to do all this, and then you guys can instruct them, and we start bringing revenue back and cutting you guys revenue checks or whatever it's, you know.
So, Nate, I got another question to bring up, and just an idea to throw out there. Do we want to do as lenders a lot of collaborating? So let's say somebody comes and they need $60,000 EMD payment. Do we want to just lend that from one lender and one person? Or
the idea would be,
let me finish what I'm saying. Or do we want to bring in, you know, 3 or 4 people, each putting in 10 or 20,000, so now the risk is spread amongst multiple people?
I think it's the important is being flexible. And I think that's because we do have people that want to lend it that can do $5,000. And they're like open to $5,000. And the way that, you know, I've kind of put it online, and I mean, obviously I'm putting a simpler process than what it probably actually is, but literally with EMD and this kind of stuff you could do, if you had $20,000, you could break it up into $4,000 or $5,000 loans, mini loans. You could combine that with other people. You could take that because, you know, a lot of times you guys are gonna have to commit to, hey, I can fund this deal, but it's not going to close for a month. You have 4 weeks. Well, if you can break up $50,000 into 4 or into 6, and you guys basically doing those little ones, you do that for 10 or 12 weeks in a row, 10 or 12 loans, then basically you have another cycle. You put the ROI on top of that. But no, you got what you were saying earlier. Yeah, you can combine that. Let's say you throw in $10,000. Willie throws in 10,000. Chris throws in 10,000. You guys just combine for $30,000. It goes obviously to the closing agent. Then you guys, you know, everything is direction to pay. You guys earns, you get the servicing company. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, so what is the legal structuring that we need to do? I don't remember. I remember this came up a while back. I don't know if it was in this group, but there's rules about the legal structuring and like LLCing that, and each person has to have an active role, or it becomes, if you don't have an active role in it, then it becomes
it's not like having a syndication. If you only have a couple of people making loans, it's a different process. Now I'll consult with Julian and Merrill before we do it, before we actually do it. And I do have my contract. The contract that we talked about earlier, it's similar to what the one that Pace More uses. That contract and then the other contracts are all right now I've got them at the lawyers looking at at those contracts, making sure
Right,
we're all
but
good. But
does
no, I
any-
get it. Yeah, there's,
Is anybody else familiar with that? The structuring you need for that? I can't remember it. I know it's come up in multiple conversations I've had, and I don't remember the structuring, but when
Yeah.
you go in on a deal with multiple lenders, I think everybody has to be equal position in the note or something. If you have a first, second, and third, then or something. I don't remember the details on it, but there's a bunch of legal issues we have
yeah,
to
I think
address.
that, yeah, and I think there is, like, you have to do it like an LLC or something with those lenders, and that LLC or something.
Yeah,
has
I
to
think
be
you'd
like-
have to do,
Has to lend
I-
the money.
what I think we'd have to do, Ari, is, yeah, you could set it up almost like the way Kogo has some of their setup, where it's like EMD Fund number 1 LLC. And each of the 4 people, say, would have to be a managing member. And then when it
And
pays out,
active.
yeah,
Right,
an
and-
active
and-
member.
Active member, right?
Yeah, so you avoid the syndication regulations.
Yeah, and that's exactly, that's how it
Exactly,
is. Yeah, and that's how it is. And I'll ask Julian and Merrill about it, or securities attorneys, because they'll know. And, you know, if you're pulling the money to loan money, I think you still have to do kind of, like I said, an LLC or some kind of structure. And you know, another person that's doing that is Mel's doing that. I know Mel has been on a few weeks. Mel's putting it, you know, he put his company together in Farmington, New Mexico, and so it's a good deal. So he just did a deal similar to that where he had a couple people involved. I think he put in 100,000, a couple of people put in like 50, so he had more money. So he was writing his contract to protect him because he had the most money in the deal. You know, making sure, and you know, so we'll make sure we structure that. Like I said, tonight, next week, and the following Monday. I want to have most of everything worked out, and then we can put this in writing, and we can be live on August 6th, August 13th. Be live peer to peer, associate to associate. That way, before this goes out to the public, everybody here is comfortable who's lending, and then people who aren't lending can be like a, you know, advisory board. People who look out and we go, hey, you know, if you want these guys to lend money, you gotta participate, come up to speed on, you know, what you're doing and stuff like that. And the whole idea is that everything's standardized. It's all, you know, everything should be you know, people obviously are working brokering. Obviously you're brokering for a lender, you got to use their system, but anything that we're going to do internally or something like that, we're going to try to standardize.
And Ty is gonna talk about lending from self-directed stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's gonna talk about it, if he's comfortable with it, but people don't know this. You can actually lend from your retirement accounts and put in money from your other accounts. You can put in your regular money. You can mix the money if you do it correctly. There's a very, it has to be done properly, but if it's done properly, you can do that. There are some tax implications potentially that you have to consider, but it is something, I don't know if Ty is going to talk about that. I don't know if he's comfortable talking about that. If not, then there's attorneys I know that can talk about it. And Nate might also know some attorneys who can talk
Yeah, and
about
I'm
it.
saying that it's a good thing that Speaker's on now, and she was the one who talked about this last week. So we're gonna try to talk, you know, try to do this like mid-August because we need to get that figured out as soon as possible. Because there are a number of people that have IRAs, and some people have to convert their IRAs, and we need to obviously know that process. But I think we're ready to go because I think I probably have at least 30 people in the group who said they have money to do it, and I know I have like at least 20 or 30 people that I'm talking to outside of the group because I've been posting. You guys have seen what I've been posting, and people are like, "Oh, I like that." Don't do the tribal lending because I was using that as a bad example. But
Don't use what?
tribal lending. You can't do tribal lending because you're not a tribe. You're not an Indian reservation. When I posted the thing
I'm
about
Jewish. I'm Jewish. I'm a member of the tribe. What are you talking about?
you might be able to from you know, but not from the Native American, not Bureau of Indian Affairs. Go ahead. Scott Tucker tried that. He turned 500,000 and 3.5 billion, but he's sitting in Fort Leavenworth right now for doing that. So you don't want to do what he's doing, but the tribes can charge a ton of money, guys. They people will borrow. I saw somebody who borrowed $500 and they ended up paying like $3,000 in interest. Like literally, and
Wow.
they didn't pay not a cent went to principal. and Indian tribes have sovereignty. And they can actually, some cases, if you owe the Indian tribe money and you want to fight them, not only do you have to fight them in the regular court, you have to go to the tribal court on the reservation, which you already know is a stacked deck. You know, so I mentioned that one time and people were like, "You're talking about tribal lending." I said, "I'm making a bad example of don't do it," because I got called about consulting with them, how to structure it for them, and I'm like, I'd do it, but I don't want to be charging people 10,000% interest. It was like 3,000% interest they were like getting away with because it was they're sovereign. They don't have to go by every law in the country. You know, it's you know, it's funny because they all kept their end of the treaties from the 1800s, but I don't know how many treaties we've, you know, not kept on our end. But no, the tribal lending don't do tribal lending. It's like worse than the mob. I think the mob's actually nicer in some cases. Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have all this set up next week. Probably my goal is August 6th. By that meeting, I want to be 100% live.
For the Sidra,
if we're gonna,
for the Sidra,
I think whatever is it 2 weeks from tonight, 3 weeks, either 2 weeks or 3 weeks from tonight, I want to be 100, at least be ready for people to start doing deals. I mean, not that we don't have deals now and people can't do them, but at least have the formal process. I'll have the conference.
August 6th is a Sunday, August 7th is a Monday.
Yeah, so August 7th, you know, try to be, that's the goal. If we miss it, then it's just obviously, I want you guys' input. Are we ready for this? It's not going to be me saying the sole decision, hey, we're ready. If you guys aren't ready, if the group collectively feels like we're ready and people got money and they feel comfortable, like you don't have to participate at all. You can sit there and go, hey, I'll wait till November to fund a deal if there's not the right deal. It's 100% up to everybody that puts money. It's your money. The funding committee is designed to really kind of do what Ari was doing earlier, and all you guys, Simi and all them, Willie, when you guys are talking to David, is you guys kind of put this, you know, kind of put the structure together, and then maybe 5 people will talk about it, but maybe 2 decide to do the deal, just like Shark Tank. You know, Mark Cuban's like, hey, I'll do the deal, and everybody else is like, no, I wouldn't touch that deal with the 10-foot pole. You know, it's I want to make sure that everybody gets an fair opportunity to be heard. And then if we have some people that need some help structuring or taking an offer back, rewriting an offer, you know, I'm just saying if you're going to help somebody rewrite an offer, restructure, at least have the intent of trying to get them funded. You know, I don't want to get people run through the wire, you know, ringer of like, hey, you know, we go help them. And there's, you know, I want everybody to feel like a welcoming place, because that's how I'm going to be able to get this virtual system and all everything going. And then everybody that's in right now is, like I said, just 10 minutes ago, everybody's going to benefit from having all these things. You know, Ari's talking about
Nate,
CoStar. Yeah.
Nate, I think the biggest thing we need in order to make this viable is a solid process of, you have a deal, this is the information that you need to put and be able to share. It needs to be a document, a piece of paper, you know, virtual, whatever, that it can be presented, that a lender can look at. So
there is a form there.
Right, let me just finish what I'm saying. I think that's the key to going live, is having processes in place, not just the form, but then the review process, the validation process, all these different things. So I don't know, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but my opinion, that's what's going to be the key for this going live, is having the processes in place.
The form is actually in files that has been uploaded. So, and I'll make sure I put that tomorrow when I post the video for everybody that's not on. I will make sure that I show you guys where that form is, because it is on there. There's a lot of other forms that are on there. There's some forms still coming, but yeah, that's what we got these next couple of weeks to make sure it's in place. I'm not going to be the one that calls and said we're live. That's not my call. My call is to facilitate this now and get to the point where
Right. So the form is only one piece of it, is what I'm saying.
Well, no, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff right there. It's just everybody's got to be able to, and I need people to understand that some people are wanting to do this still, and you know, they need to come to these events so they're on the same page. And some people are like, you know, there's some legitimate reasons. Obviously tonight we had a couple people out because of whatever happened in Pennsylvania. You know, I just started reading about it like 10 minutes before I came on. I know Doris said she lost her power and AC and all this stuff.
I used to live not far from there. If I was still living there, I'm sure they activated our disaster team that would be out there.
Erica has a family emergency, so she's not on. Erica's awesome. I mean, 25 years in the lending business, 10 years at Wells Fargo as a risk manager and underwriter. And she was in the exceptions department, which is the exceptions, is like, it's like taking risk management to a whole new level. So we definitely, she's involved, she's gonna be on the committee. I mean, we got some serious firepower, guys, for people who are gonna be helping you guys, and everybody here is gonna make money.
I'm gonna say goodnight. I actually gotta run. I got a call that I gotta take. So I will
Alright.
see everybody on the next one, and anyone who needs me, feel free to reach out. If you don't have my contact info, others do. Nate has it. So he'll give it to you if you need
Or
it, or
just
you can
put,
find me on
or just
Facebook.
start putting at ARI in that group and it'll automatically come up and you can message it.
All right, goodbye, everyone.
All right. So yeah, I mean, Ari's right, guys. So everything, we have a lot of stuff. The only thing I'm finalizing is that we need for this is I'm finalizing the contracts that are the EMD that protect everybody and obviously, so if you have your own systems, you're brokering, you know, you have to use somebody else's programs. That's cool. That's awesome. That's what you need to do. But we're going to standardize everything and we have almost everything. And then the group can kind of go over the next couple of weeks, what the process is going to be and say what you guys are going to be to look at things. And obviously, I would like to hopefully have people at least submit, you know, somehow submit a package. And whether it's to me or we have some way of getting it to a few people who can look at it and then before the Monday night. So Monday nights can be exclusively funding and discussion and all that stuff, whereas Wednesday is all structured, guys. And there are some people that are really experienced that you're not going to see on Wednesday nights, but they're going to be here on Monday nights just because I don't, you know, Wednesdays is going to be there's going to be a lot of information. It's just, you guys have seen the schedule. Like this week, we're really talking about relationships and how to build relationships with lenders and all those kind of people. And we're going to talk about some more we can touch a lot of stuff. It builds and builds and builds. You're going to be learning underwriting and risk management. You're going to be a lot of stuff that I have a lot of written information for you guys, you know, some homework and stuff. It's taken this whole thing to a whole nother level. Because you can go a lot of places and learn how to, you know, write this, you know, privy. Like I said, I'm making sure you guys know about the free things. If you absolutely, even if you don't do single family, I would just suggest even jumping on that webinar, just so you can kind of see how privy works. Because then you can always, you know, be a good, holy crap, this program's the best program out there. I believe so, and it's not just because Benson's a friend of mine. Obviously, Jillian, the security attorney, has another one coming up, another free webinar. Rod Cleef has his free one. He's doing another couple of free ones, I think, in September after his boot camp. So I'll make sure you guys get all the links to the free webinars. There's probably a good 10 or 12 of them coming up that you guys can go to and get a lot of good information. And some of them, like Rod Cleef, if you go to his live event, you'll start out with like 2 inches of paperwork will be sitting on your seat. By the time you leave 3 days later, it's like that. You leave it that much. I literally almost had to get another suit. Luckily, I live in 20 minutes from the airport. I mean, from the hotel that it was at. But if I had to fly, I would have to get another suitcase just to take all the stuff he hands up. I mean, that's how thorough Rod Cleef is. So making sure you guys all have every resource. There's absolutely no, that's my goal. Yeah, that's what I spent 6 years collecting all this stuff for you guys. And we've gotten better. I mean, Ari would tell you next time you guys talk to Ari. I mean, he was in the program 3 years ago, and it was like nothing compared to what it is now. And a year from now, 2 years from now, will even be better. Plus, one's a virtual. That'll be a lot nice. You know, it'll be a lot fun to have that. Anybody got any else other deals? I know a few people have come on. Adam's on still on. I know Robert's on and Mika's on. I haven't heard from you guys tonight. Anything going on to you guys? Chris, anything you got going on? I know I thought I saw something you were posting about on Facebook a couple of days ago or something, or maybe it was a response to me or something. I run into everybody so much on Facebook anymore. It's like, dude, I probably talked to somebody 10 times today.
No, I have two flips that I'm probably gonna sign for this week, but I'm gonna self-fund those. So otherwise, I was interested in the product Willie was talking about.
Oh yeah, is that the zero gravity wheel? Was that the one you were talking about? Because I know you were talking about zero gravity.
No, that was
The 100% financing?
Yeah, is that zero gravity?
me.
No, that's a different program.
Oh, okay. Because that was the one I saw you posted about a few days ago in Jim's group, and I was like, oh, crap, that sounds like a cool program.
That's a good program. Those guys are, that's the one who I have the app with.
Oh, okay. The Deal Central.
No, it's called Backflip.
Oh, backflip. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I met those
Okay.
guys in Dallas at a meetup.
Yeah, so backflip, we got Deal Central, and then, you know, our virtual program is gonna be incredible. I think so, and I mean, so I think we got a good system going on. I think ours is, I don't know, I'm trying to make sure that, we have a good program for people who have no experience to gain education and experience. And then you guys are there, if you're gonna fund deals or be involved with them, you gotta watch that in real time and go, hey, that guy's been putting his homework in. I wanna fund that guy's deal.
Yeah, I signed up for Privy. I've been poking around a little bit every night. I need to
Yeah, just reach out to Benson if you got any questions.
watch some more of the videos, but still,
Yeah,
some of them when I go in. Is he in the group? I've never,
he's, I believe he's actually, I know he's in one of my groups. Cause I'm, like I said, I've been friends with him. I met him at Pitbull Conference in 2019. We got stranded at the airport in Arizona together for snow. Obviously the snow wasn't in Arizona. We had, you know, we both had to fly back to Denver, so we sat at the airport for 6 hours at the Phoenix airport waiting to come back from, you know, it was 90 degrees in Scottsdale, and then I had to fly back and it was 2 feet of snow, and it took 5.5 hours to get from the Denver airport to where I live. It was like ridiculous. There was no Uber, nothing. It was wild. We ended up getting a bus, and then I had to walk, and it was not fun. Luckily I knew it was gonna snow, so I took my jacket and my boots and my gloves, you know, with me to Arizona, knowing it was gonna snow on the way back. But no, Chris, I mean, so Benson and I hit it off, and obviously he's in Denver, so we try to, you know, hook up a lot. I want to get him with the guy with Jared at Scope Technologies. You know, it'll be limited in what you guys do with Scope, but you guys look at that website, man, he has a lot of, he's got 18,000 clients just to ripping and insurance adjusters and stuff. So he's got a lot of resources. And I talked to him, he said it's just really data. He can plug data into his system and be able to generate all kinds of stuff that can help people with comps and stuff. You know, so if we create some kind of program for that. And then, you know, we want to obviously incorporate that into the virtual. The virtual is going to be awesome. Like I said, we work and you guys can download all the from the files and you can see all the stuff. The numbers were done in 2019, but I think they're better now because, you know, people are still wanting to do stuff virtual. They're not still wanting to travel to big, you know, they're starting to. Rod Cleve's doing his first in-person, you know, multifamily boot camp since the pandemic in September. And it's, you know, it's always good to go to Rod's things that are going to Pitbull. Pitbull's now MPLA. I'm going to be going to 3 MPLA conferences next year. And so I'll be getting a lot of information from there. They used to be a Pitbull. It was $17,000 is what I spent to be a sponsor in 2019. So with all the hotels and all that stuff, airfare, including the money that it took me to get home in the snow. That was not a fun night. Even sometimes in Colorado, even growing up here, it still sucks when it snows sometimes in some situations. It can get brutal. Most of the time it's like I brush it off. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot more tonight. I really wanted to just get this thing finalized with you guys because I want to be live for you guys on, like I said, August 7th, whenever it is. You know, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I want to be able to, you know, if we do deals now, we do deals now, but making sure that everybody's standardized, and then make sure you guys like at least start looking through files and downloading some of this stuff, and then giving feedback so we can get it all tightened up. I'll have the contract uploaded this week. I'll have about 5 more guides uploaded into the guide section, and I'll have some more, a few more things in files. So that's my homework. I'll have that all done by Sunday.
Hey Nate, what's the
Yeah.
status with the lender list 2.0 and 3.0?
2.0, okay, so I'm working on getting it right now. What I've done is the VA right now officially is going to make it just like the 3.0 and just have it 100% real estate. There's still going to be all those, because like people are coming back to me, there's a lot of people that are like endowment funds and pension funds, and people shouldn't be contacting them to do flips because they're not going to do them. So I'm just trying to make sure I just got everything on July 1st that I could use the other 8,000 because I had an arrangement. And that's, you know, so I can add those 8,000 that are just all known real estate investors. So I've handed those off to the VA like last week. And he's a guy in Pakistan, so he's building that for me. I want to, you know, because I didn't want to give you guys a bunch. I really thought about that. Like I've given you, you know, the Excels are all there, but they're all like, you know, you don't want to, you don't need funding consultants because they're telling you how to build a fund. if
Right.
you're not building a fund. So just to make sure that everybody, because we have a lot of people that are inexperienced. And if they look at it and they start calling pension funds, Los Angeles firefighters pension fund is not going to invest in your flips.
Click.
Yeah, so I just had to make sure that it was, because you guys, most of the people are intelligent. Gabe went, looked at it right away, and he's like, yeah, there's some people in here I can use. I think Willie, didn't you say you were starting to call on some of them? On the lender list, on the lender's part. That one part that's like 850, they're all good. I mean, some of them, we'll check them again. I'm gonna try to check them every 3 months. We deleted some duplicates and we deleted some that were no longer in business. And then I'll do that again and I'll try to add to it. And then the ones that are like all the Excels that have the CSVs, those will still give you the hedge funds and the 2-family office list for that. But then I got 8,000 more known, and they're broken down, literally like known fix and flip. And these are people who, and the data company that did them for me are like phenomenal. Like they got it broken down to short-term rentals. So wherever they get the data from, and it's pretty soft. I'm going to say probably 90% accurate. I mean, there's obviously some changes happen from the people don't get out of business or whatever. But I'll have that pretty quick, actually. I think I'll check with him tomorrow and see what status is on him. I try to go through a couple of revisions because I want to make sure that it's easy. I don't want to take the first one and like you guys go like, I want to make sure I get a couple of revisions and I get it right for me. But no, because we got them. I could upload the Excels for you right now. There's just a lot of people, people work with the CSVs and they look at them and go, hey, this looks like code. Yeah, that's what CSV is. It's code. So yeah, we're working on it. And the virtual system is going to be the end of the year, and I'm going to basically foot the bill for that to get it going. So it's going to be pretty. I'm on Lightspeed's queue right now, so they're gonna put it together for me starting in November, and then Chris Kalicki's gonna. I'm also waiting for him to finish up some projects, and then he's got some clients that he's got to finish up for. But he's gonna be like the Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson kind of host of a lot of the stuff on it. And he's a master, he's a guy that knows how to talk to people on that. He does that for companies and stuff, presentations and all that. So I don't know if you guys have ever met Chris. He's actually a real estate investor too. He's awesome. So, and he put all those numbers together. So it was going to be pretty phenomenal. I was kind of disappointed. Like, dude, we were like ready to sign the contract. And then it was like March 15th, 2020. So somebody was talking about, hey, there's a bunch of people getting sick in China. And then like 3 days later, there's a bunch of people getting sick in Denver. It was like weird. Yeah, so I think we got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm pretty happy. And like I said, once I can get this thing up in mid-August and you guys are running it and funding deals and all that stuff, then I can actually work on a lot more of that stuff. So that's what I do a lot of times. It's a lot of time during the day. I'm already working on a lot of stuff. Yeah, so I think we're pretty good. I think we got a lot done. So anybody have anything else? So I could go process and upload this tonight.
Let's get it.
Cool. All right, I'll see you guys around, and then Wednesday night, you guys have the schedule 5:30, and then it's gonna be a little bit of building relationships and lender relationships and vice versa, and how to attract. There's a lot of stuff. I put that in there. 2 hours. We went 2 hours last week, so I'm gonna stick to that. Where it's like literally, if it says 15 minutes, we're gonna move to the next topic. We got a lot of stuff to cover. It's gonna take all 40 hours of the Wednesdays to do it. But I'll see everybody later.
All right, guys.
Cool. See ya.
Cool. Okay.